So good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Donny Chaingang with me, Matt Payne. We're here in the Full Speed Events studio once again, live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. I've even got my Downey Cycling hoodie on. Here we go. Get the logo on the right side. You can tell we've been out in the real world for a whole weekend of cyclocross action at the World's Masters Cyclocross Championships down in Ipswich. An amazing event and fantastic to see so many riders from the DCG out and riding, and some amazing performance, including medalists who are regulars on the DCG, some new riders and some regular riders, and lots of people really putting in some amazing performances, and looking forward to seeing what happens next year, because bigger, brighter event with more participation, more riders in there, and lots of people already saying it's going to be a target for next year. So looking forward to when those riders are holding their form on the DCG. Now, we are all, of course, here for the Donny Chaingang, which is the part of the show, the very early part of the show, is the one where we tend to do most of our giveaways, and that is because it's the 12 DCGs of Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. Occasionally, I do actually not grinch about stuff, but, you know, that's how it goes. We are going to be bringing you the giveaways first of all, and we actually have a rollover. So, as I was at the World Masters, we didn't bother doing a giveaway on Thursday. I was kind of stood in a muddy cold field doing rehearsals and trying to make sure that we got the medal ceremonies, the World's medal ceremonies, absolutely nailed. Seemed to go okay. So, it does mean we've got a rollover this week, and it means we've rolled over the prices from the previous Thursday, from last Thursday, where you all had to fly blind, as the saying goes, this week's, which means that we've composited them together. We have today to give away. We've got £50 voucher from 1080, our fantastic sponsors, 1080 in Taylor at 1080, bringing it all together, and it is a 1080 12 DCGs of Christmas for sure, because he's put so much work in to get us these thousands of pounds worth of prizes to give out to our members. We have, as well as that, a Nonnas hamper. Nonna, of course, the Nonnas in Sheffield, the place to go. Everybody loves it there. Nobody ever has a bad word about it. It's one of mine and Russ's and everybody's favourite sports savers. Regular of lots of people on the Chaingang, and supporters and riders of the Donny Chaingang as well. And Stefano and Maurizio, got to say a massive thank you to them. It is a very, very nice £100 hamper. The members of the DCG gang have actually seen that. So we've also got Spats Cooler, where base layer, the super designed for a champion cooler base layer that has been designed to go out in conjunction with the team, and we're going to go straight on with this, because we are going to give away 2 of those prizes now to the members of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, to say thank you. Currently 110 eligible riders, so the random number generator is rolling in the background, and we will pull 2 as it is old school. It is one rider, one prize throughout the entirety of December. So once somebody's won a prize, they can't go win another one. So we are going to dive in, and we're going to give away our first 2 on the random number generator, which you can see right over there, and I can see right there too, actually, as it happens. It's magic of putting the screens in the right place in the studio. So what we will do is we'll stop this. It is randomised. Our members eligible for the first draw A to Z, then the members who have joined since that first draw, the first DCG of the 12 DCGs A to Z after, and then the random numbers are allocated all the way down, and it is 1 to 110 once the randomizer stops, and it's going to fire out the number. The number's going to be 25. I'm going to scroll rapidly up the page and tell you that 25, the winner of the £50 voucher, is none other than Caroline Mansford, who's competed in the World's Masters over the course of the weekend. So it is Caroline who is going to get the £50 voucher from 1080. And I know Caroline will appreciate that, because she's definitely one who is never short of a pair of shades. Maybe a set of clears or a clear lens would be a good move to go with maybe some Oakley Sutros might be my suggestion, and definitely a keen supporter of 1080. So great to see that going out there. So congratulations to Caroline with the first of the win. Now, congratulations to Caroline winning that prize already. Congratulations coming in on the message board. We're going to roll very quickly into our next one because the time is ticking on. He says, looking at our timing screens. So the generator is fired back up. Now, Caroline can't win again. So it's definitely not going to be Caroline. Who will it be when we stop the generator? I have no idea where it's going to start. I've tried to make it work so it'll stop on a set number. It's impossible. Now, you know that game where you're just trying to get these... No, you'd have to have lightning reflexes. So it is going to be 75. Trevor Crehan. Trevor is going to be the winner of our hamper from Nonnas. So Trevor Crehan winning the Nonnas hamper. Congratulations to Trevor. Great stuff. One of our long-term riders on the gang. So great to have Trevor winning that Nonnas hamper. And I'm sure you're going to enjoy that. So brilliant to get two of our prizes done. The last one, well, that's going out on the ride. That's going to be our Spats Cooler base layer. So you can see our riders all lined up. We've got about 3.5 minutes to go. So we're going to try and get hold of the one and only Fonzie Downing, the bear himself. Hopefully going to be on the end of a phone line. I know it's not been the best day for us today, but we will see whether he's on the end of the phone line. I think he is. Hello, Russ. How are you doing, mate?
Been freaking better, if you can ask if I can swear on YouTube.
Well, you can, but you might get us banned. We've managed to avoid that so far. I'm quite impressed that we've actually managed to not be banned just yet.
I'm not interested, to be honest. Ban me.
Okay, so we are just looking at the map and looking at the details on the screen here. It is going to be a really busy night, isn't it? A lot of riders down there. Oh, well over 100 riders. I think I've got it about 130-ish on one of our tickets. So looks like it's going to be a big, busy night. Now, one of the things our riders need to bear in mind is that the route is not just once up the hill. By any stretch of the imagination, is it? We actually do repeat laps, and I'm just going to pull up on the screen whilst you're on our screen because it is twice up the hill, twice back down again, plus the turns, which gives us 33k because it's basically a 16 and a 16 plus the turns gives us 33.5k with 2.5. So it is. It's twice up the hill, twice back down again, and round the turn at the bottom. And I'm sure you can see because I know you have the screen rolling. The hill there, we've got Carl Johnson as our red beacon as well. Going to be very, very tough tonight. And of course, we've got a competition as well to win our last prize as well.
Yeah, that's good prizes up tonight. So looking forward to that.
Yep, already got the Trevor Crehan winner, Caroline Mansfield winner, and one more winner, which is going to come from the message board today on the ride. So we'll see where we do that and when that is out on the route. I'm going to let you dive back off very quickly, Russ, because I know you've got a lot of messages to type and only 1 minute 19 to type them. Good luck, buddy.
All right, mate.
I'll catch you out on the ride. So great to catch up with Russ, who is now heading out on the ride. Let's drop back into that map. So it is twice up the hill, twice back down again, and then the turnaround at each end on top. So it is definitely hilly, 554 metres of climb. So it is tough stuff up there. So let's see just how that works out. So it's up the hill, back down again, turn round, up the hill, back down again, turn round, and that is the total of the ride. The thing to remember on everybody's head. So it is going to be a very busy night. Let's translate that into the shape of the course because it isn't, oddly enough, flat. We start on the little green edge. We drop down to the low point of the course, then we climb right the way through. And you can see those big red numbers going up into the 18-20% mark. There's a long, consistent stretch of 16.2. Key is to stay around yellow because we're going to be going up, we're going to drop down, we're going to go back up, we're going to drop down and then come around the turn. So it is going to be a very busy trip out there on the course, and definitely going to be a case of how are those riders going to cope when they go out onto the circuit. We're going to keep a check on our riders who are out there as they make their way out and around. I think our riders looking good at the moment, so we are going to dive off our fantastic fellow viewer graphic, and we're going to join our riders who are out en route, making the way up and down the course. So let's jump in. Let's see who we're going to jump in with as they go up and down the hill twice again. So looks like Carl Johnson, our Red Beacon's just saying he's managed to get Santa's sleigh, which is what we want to see. Damien Clayton, the man we're watching on the screen, tick up. You saw his clock fire into gear there. So great to see him out there. You can see Damien, of course, one of our regular riders on the Donny Chaingang, one of our pros who's regularly on here. 144, 148 watts, 75 revs per minute, 107 beats per minute up in the blue box. In the centre of your screen, you can see that our riders have their speed, the distance, the height covered, and the time elapsed. Tells you who we're watching in the centre. Top right hand side of your screen, you can see the main screen, and remember, you can only see 100 riders generated, and that means that you can't currently see anybody between our yellow beacon and our red beacon. However, if we pull our red beacon up tonight, and that is Carl Johnson, and we know Carl will be rolling around about the back, we're going to dive in, watch the riders appear around him, full of riders from our red beacon all the way up to yellow. So, shows you cannot see the whole of the screen, and Carl, our red beacon, has a big group of riders just in front here. So you can see them just strung out now. Carl just making his way up and along, and looks like just picking up Isaac Oliver. Isaac kicking out 6 watts per kilo, being picked up by Carl doing about 2. So there's something wrong with Isaac's screen, that's for sure, because he shouldn't be going that slow with that many watts coming out. So our riders just making the way out around these lower turns. Let's see how they get on out on the ride today on the Donny Chaingang, live with me, Matt Payne, on the Downhill Cycling YouTube channel. So riding in with Carl Johnson at the moment, just making our way up. Andy Driver just in front. Andy, one of our regular riders, a quick rider, just riding on that Swift concept bike. An interesting choice tonight because it is essentially drop down on these gradual lumps and bumps as you head out of town, go around the corners, and then head up on to the climb proper. Now, I've got to say a massive thank you to this man, Stefano Borelli, and all of the team at Nonnas, because they have done an amazing job with some astounding ingredients going into that hamper. I have to say, it is amazing hamper. Very, very jealous of Mr. Crehan, who has taken the win. So well done to Trevor getting that win so far. Just watching Stefano at the moment, trying to make his way up to the back of the main bunch. You can see some big gaps at the back of the bunch. If we jump on the back here and then start to run our way back down, you can just see Carl squeezing on with this group. Stefano working his way onto the back of the gang here, and they've got to really squeeze to get in with that yellow beacon. It's all about being on yellow today. Now, whilst we got Stefano on screen, don't forget all of the goodies that are in that hamper. You'll be able to see that are available at Nonnas on Exeter Road. Great stop off. Make sure you get in there, whether it's Easter eggs, Easter Christmas presents like hampers, like chocolates, like fine drink as well. Don't forget to go grab some. Maurizio and Stefano supporting the Chaingang. Make sure you support the people who support your sport, who support the Chaingang, because without them the show just doesn't come out. The Russ isn't able to ride, and we all come to a grinding halt. So congratulations to Trevor Crehan, the winner of our Nonnas prize, doing a great job. So the Looks like Russ just trying to get the companion out to sink back in again. Our beacon rolling at the back. Looks like Isaac Oliver at the back of the group trying to jump into the back of the yellow beacon. Remember that you won't be able to see anything more than 100. The nearest 100 riders and our red and yellow beacon. They are the two people that you can always see. And if you do go off down the road, well, guess what? You aren't going to be able to see the back of the group. There's definitely no need for anybody to be doing 3 watts per kilo at the moment down the front of the straight. Please, guys, keep it ticking round about that 2 mark, because if you put the pressure on now, you're only going to look like a muppet later when you get hammered off out of the back of the group by the big guns. So, watching Russ at the moment, riding along nice and strongly, sitting in the group. Carl Johnson, the red beacon, pushing on here, and you can see the numbers that you have to do to get back in with the gang here. Ruth Taylor kicking out here, 4.4 watts per kilo, trying to close that gap down. It's currently sat at 2 seconds. Could do with a little bit of help coming out the back of the bunch towards her, because kicking out 5 watts per kilo is not easy. But here she comes. I think she's going to make contact here. So Ruth, one of our regular riders, gets that down to one. Looks like AD doing a fantastic job. Thank you, AD. One of our riders who we know is always going to help out the people who are fighting their way in to the gang, as we see Ruth Taylor get into the group there. So well done there to her, because that is really tricky. Now, Ben from the squad at the Veloview in here, I've got to say a massive thank you to Ben and all of the team. It is brilliantly done when the graphics and the details on there is absolutely critical to us being able to make sure it all rolls, it all happens now. Johnson and Borelli are our bus at the back here, and they are working well together already. Jimmy Allen at the moment just sat on the back, the Wolf himself. Looks like interestingly going for a disc and an aero wheel combo. Great on the downhill, not so sure about the uphill sections. So we did say 2 of our prizes are done. 2 of the prizes are done. We still have 1 of our prizes still to go, and that is a Spatswear base layer, a cooler base layer developed in conjunction with the current Olympic champion to give a indoor super coolant, super well fitting base layer. Now, one of these already going out on the very first Donny Chaingang, that was the WOW DCG to Fletcher, the fastest on the fingers. And what we did, if anybody was watching that, it's really easy to see how we made that work. It's very simple. When I give the cue, all you have to do is type in the following. I will give you the cue. You have to put the words ho 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 and then DCG and your name. So if you're watching live and you've got the sound turned up, you are going to be in with the running. If you're not watching live, don't type it in. You ain't going to win a prize. So if you're watching live, the cue will be the words go, go, go. You'll have to have your name in there, and it'll be go, 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 and then it will be the 3 letters that we always use. The first ones I see on screen, on the game, that appear on the big broadcast screen in front of me, will be the first person who gets it. Irrespective of whatever the companion app does, irrespective of what your message board says, it's the first one that I get to see, watching, commentating live here on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel. So the first one that appears on the screen, when I say the same thing, that is when you need to get your words out, and you need to type the words. It is ho ho ho, and then it is 3 letters, a D followed by a C followed by a G, and then your name. It certainly won't start until we're on to the climb. It's likely to be mid-ride before Russ gives the trigger, because we all know everybody's going to need to concentrate at that point. But you need to have ready to go the key, which is the main letters. So real big bunch here as we now come in. We're going to take this right-hand turn. And this is the sharp right turn, which brings us around and up onto the climb proper. We've got another set of hairpins a little bit further up as we head out, but as you can see, just riding in with Vin Donahue, looking good out there. You can see Ted in the gang as well. Now we do have that Chris Lawrence, yes, that same Chris Lawrence in the squad here. I think he's going to be in the Barnsley Road Club colours, so good to have Chris on board. Chris, of course, the organiser of the National Crit Races, and I'm sure if you're in the East Midlands, if you're around Donny, then definitely a case of diving in and giving him a hand. He is a prolific organiser for the squad and for road races, so great to see that he's in it. Interesting to see our riders just taking to the side here. Stay around yellow is great, apart from when our riders decide that they're going to head off and out off the side of the course. Let's have a little bit of a look at the red. This is a very entertaining. Everybody's gone and hit the wall. Let's see if Carl Johnson or Red Beacon. Oh, our Red Beacon just cut in the corner there. So a little bit of cyclocross on the way through. Chris, you've got to wait. I haven't said it yet. Sorry, mate. You have to wait until I say the three things. So very good. I love the fact that Chris is already testing his out. Excellent. It's not going to work though. Now, one of the things to bear in mind is wherever I am, their messages will come flying. Let's have a little look. The Mr. Mason in the gang. So the fastest messages are going to come up. You'll see Neil in here. Neil racing, of course, on the race. So let's have a look at the squad here. They're just pedaling away nicely up here. Remember, the key is to stay with our yellow beacon, who's going to hopefully just be ticking along at this early stage. Only 6.2k. Remember, it's twice up the hill and twice back down again. Ooh, looks like we've got Royals in tonight. Millie Skinner in the house and climbing strongly. It looks like pedaling very smoothly there. 72 revs per minute, 163 beats per minute as well. Daisy Freer in the gang as well. Good to have Daisy on board as well. Just taking a little bit of a check up here. Lots of very quick riders in the gang. Good to have Mick Clark in here, Paul Coleman, Chris Canham in the squad. Just taking a little bit of a hunt. Keith Hayward in here. Damien Clayton, well, we all know he's there chatting away. Let's have a little bit of a look. We've got Mr. McNamara. We've got Kerry in here, another member of the DCG gang. Don't forget, if you're a member of the DCG gang, the Donny Chaingang Supporters Club, then you get the priority entry into the ride. You get the links early, you get a heads up of where you're going. You don't need to be asking questions like, where are we going? I don't know. It's really easy. We tell you. We let you know. So the ride is starting to string out already. You can just see as we drop back from Rust through the group that it is starting to string, and we've got to remember the hill here does not work well for our slightly bigger riders. Now Chris Lawrence just having to push at the back here, and then it's going to be Tony Cliff, the gang. Chris, there is a bullying hotline, and we do take it seriously. We actually banned several people for it, so just be aware. Unfortunately, mate, you give it out as much as anybody, so you might have to wait and see. Right, let's jump in with Stefano and with Keith. It looks like Mr. Woodall just taking a quick call of nature and pushing on. Edmund joining us as well, and Young. So they've got to get a move up here. Looks like OZK. That's got to be a power outage there, because that looks like a very random power as he makes his way up. Our red beacon does not be going over 2.5 watts per kilo, so it looks like people with tech issues a little bit further back. So the bus ticking along well at the moment. Looks like Sonia Inslee in here. Sonia from Bolsover District, one of the regular roads. Got Julie Leodis for company, the duo from Bolsover, together here on the course, climbing well. So Julie and Sonia, both regular riders for Bolsover, both very strong. I'll probably put the sprint money on Sonia, but Julie, definitely one of the very strong riders in their squad. So you can just see behind our yellow beacon, we've probably got, let's have a little bit of a check on the time from back to the yellow. So from our red beacon to our yellow beacon, currently showing has been 13 seconds, which is nicely done at this stage. Very good indeed. Let's take a little bit of a hunt up the road. Mr. Woodall just squeezing on. Chris Sadler in the group. Looks like Kirby in here, John Garth in here as well. Mr. Barrett in here. Looks like Nick Craig. So we were talking about people who did great rides at the World Championships. This is your silver medalist at the World Championships at the weekend. Now riding here on the Donny Chaingang. Nick Craig, legend that is, up on the Chaingang once again. And good to see Nick in action back with us as well. So amazing to have somebody who is out and racing and actually in really good form, and great to see him riding. And make sure you download the Crosscast, the Cyclocross podcast, if you want to hear our views on the World Championships, on the rides, a quick sum up of all of the races if we squeeze it in. The Crosscast is going to be coming out. Recorded our next show yesterday, and it was great to catch up with Neil afterwards, after what was a really busy weekend, and reflect on the performance of people like Nick Craig. A huge contingent, Britain top in the medal tables as you expect if it was at home. And yeah, apparently Neil from the Crosscast, who is on here from Gritty, of course, one of our key supporters, saying tonight if we're lucky. I guess that depends on how wrecked Neil is at the end of this. So we'll see how he gets on. Good to have Mr. Hunsley in with us here. So Paul Hunsley on the climb at the moment, and looks like good rest here. 70 revs per minute, maybe a little bit on the low side. Heart rate ticking at 157 at the moment, 270 watts. Hunsley at the moment just sitting behind that yellow beacon in the group nicely here. Let's take a little bit of a check. Yeah, lots of riders around, and this is key. What you don't want to do is let any gaps go on this climb, because if the gaps go, then you're going to be in trouble. But Hunsley tucked into the back of that group and climbing well in good company. People like Millie Skinner around there, Andy Dryber around there. Good to see Darren Topolis is back in, talking about race promoters. Is a who's who of race promoters. Darren Topolis, of course, and Sure Pies, the promoters of the very first round of the National Mountain Bike Cross Country Series. It is fast. I agree with the words there of Mr. Mason, because if you are doing 2.5, even 2.9, you're getting spat out of the back almost at 3 watts per kilo. You're actually getting spat. And it's going to take a little bit of a run. We'll go do something that we don't normally do and run our way right up beyond Russ, up to the very front of the group. And you can see the numbers up here, 3.4s, 3.5s. It is indeed very, very quick. There's some serious pace being put on the front of the group here, and definitely a stretching out. Just going to keep a little bit of a check up here. You can see lots of numbers sitting up and round about 4 watts per kilo, so it's going to need to come back together again. If we jump on our beacon, our front rider, that is Mr. Lavery, back to our red beacon at the moment. I think the total time checks back sitting at about 34 seconds, so it's not too bad time-wise, but distance-wise it seems to be, certainly sees quite a lot. But big groups here, making the way up here. Just seen Tracy Seeley go through, the rider who's improving time and time again. Nick Dorsey, the best dressed man in cycling. Once he got onto the day, he's got the Ingambo kit here. Very nicely done, nice matching red and white borers as well. So Nick, the best dressed man in cycling ever.com. You can actually get hold of him. So a little bit of a regroup being called by Russ, because it has started to split, and what it can't afford to do is to go over the top before that regroup. It has to regroup prior to the top of the climb. So the gang well and truly spread out. If we zoom in, you'll be able to see it is a big long line now. The key is, if you get to the top first, you need to ease back before you go around the turn. The moment you go around that turn, it will spit you down that hill at some pace. And you can see here that we've got some bigger gaps starting to open behind. We've got Tim Leary, we've got Young Borelli, Flynn, Bolt, Johnson. I think that's going to soon become our red bus. Carl's got a tough day to be our red beacon, it has to be said. So a quick reminder, we need 3 two-letter words beginning with H. We're going to need the 3 initials of the Chaingang, and we're going to need your name in that message that you put on the message board, the first one I see when I have said those words. Then the first one that we see, we'll be awarding that Spatsware prize to somebody out on the DCG today. But only when you hear me say the 3 words and the initials, one after the other. Taylor Leach in that group. Looks like Carl Briggs in here. Russ just sitting. You see Russ having to do a fair wattage up here just to try and hold this together. Just making sure that he gets the riders into the group. So the front really needing to slow as they come up towards the top of the climb. If any of that front group go over with a gap, they will be splitting the group apart, and this is where these guys really need to push. So Sudbury, Barrett, Haywood, Inslee, this is where teamwork works. You've got to get together. Let's have a little bit of a look. Just still watching Wharfdale, Phil Jones in here. Carl Johnson and the gang. Well, the bus is in action here with Martin Boat. Looks like Jim Flynn, Borelli, Young, Leodis, Lawrence Tillett, all probably going to get snaffled by the bus at some point. Larry just at the back there. You just see Jones, you see off the pace, and what will happen is as this group goes around the top of that turn, it is going to go absolutely mad. So watch the riders as they come around the turn. We're just riding in with Cannon, and you can just see the groups just jumping in and out. Let's go in with Russ. So just trying to jump into a Russ. It's easier said than done. As the riders come round the turn, you'll see it's like an old school time trial turn. The riders come round, we drop back down again. So twice up the hill, twice down the hill, and round the turn at the bottom to the finish. And you can just see that gang already starting to rocket the way down the climb. So the gang descending now. You can see that pace starting to pick up as they start to work their way down. Meanwhile, our riders coming up. So Leodis now coming up and over the top, and you'll just see Julie taking that turn now, starting to drop down from Bolsover. We're just seeing Tillett chasing behind. She comes around that turn. Johnson on his way up the climb, just going to see them come screaming down. So Tim Leary on the descent here. You can hear them coming screaming in and past. We're going to keep that front view heads up. So you can just see Russ on this descent already making his way down along the flatlands here. We're just going to drop our way back, try and get in with Carl Johnson now. Johnson and the gang coming up to the top. We're going to get everybody on the same direction, and then we're going to spin our way down through the gang back up to the front, just riding in with Carl as he comes up towards the sanctuary at the top of the hill. Stefano about 10 seconds in front, Jim 6 seconds up, and Martin Bolt just coming through your shot. So up to the top they come, underneath the gantry. So Johnson up over the top of the hill. We're just dropping our way through. We're just trying to find the back of the bunch. So let's have a look. Just working our way down. So this bunch all rolling around Russ at the moment. You can just see it's pretty quick down here. Well, looks like a little bit of a split on the front here as the group come down on the Donny Chaingang. Just going to try and get in with Russ, which is here. Now you can see the gaps have opened up in front, some big old splits on there. I'm loving the fact Ted's going early. Haven't said anything yet. You can see the power that's having to be put in here, trying to pull all this group back, chasing the front, dangerous ground, and going to split this group already at 27 minutes of riding, 13k. Very quick tonight, very, very fast. Everybody clearly on a bit of a mission. We're just trying to work our way back through here, as you can just see Craig just making his way along here. So Mr. Genther just tucked in nicely here. Don't forget, of course, it is he's one of those riders who we know can be right up at the kill. That pace on that descent, though, it splits over the top, and if you are not on the ball, you end up in trouble. So it looks like the gap's really starting to open up in this group as they start to come back in towards town. They're still watching this gang making its way back in again. Super fast on that descent, just taking a little bit of a roll up here. So Tom in with this group, this gang rolling nice. I think everybody just enjoying that little bit of a pace and just easing it off. It is key to back off as you go around. You certainly don't want to be having problems on the downhill. You get dropped. It's really easy. Our smaller, lighter riders have to give it so many beans. And it's definitely caused a problem now. Looks like dropouts for Mr. Borelli, which means he does at least get the benefit of being able to watch. And we're just about to tick past the late join. Let's have a little bit of a check. So Flynn, Johnson, Bolt. Then Mr. Lawrence up the road with Young at the moment, just distanced here. Quite a few people spat from that main group and now need to get themselves together in a group. If you get a gang together, it will be much quicker. Really, really important to get together with the gang and ride in well. Now, one of the key things about the prizes is that you've got to have your finger on the trigger. So at the moment that I say the words ho 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 DCG, you actually type in the words ho 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 DCG and you're, oh, very good, Ted. I think in the fastest, this is going to have to go to a replay. Ted was the first one I saw. We'll run it back. But it is Ted who's got in there fast. Well done, guys. So we're going to provisionally give that to Ted. Ted, congratulations. I'm going to try and find you on our screen. And that means that Ted is going to get a Spats base layer, subject to confirmation, a bit like in real life, once our commissaire team have had a little bit of a check on the playback. So, nice one, Ted. Absolutely flying. That practice obviously worked. And the commissaire team are going to watch the playback on the video referee. But provisionally, Ted getting that Spats wear. Big thank you to the team. Yeah, Ted had a trail run earlier. It's all pays about doing your homework when it comes to riding on Zwift. That is for sure. So the team on the way down. Remember, we've got to come round the turn and then back in before we get to the touch. So I'm loving Jeff Saysos, the finishes when everybody soft pedals. You're not wrong, buddy. You're definitely not wrong. Let's just jump up in the sky here. Let's see if we can let's get the drone up and flying. So we need to go in, turn, and come back out again. So that is when it's key. So round the turn they go. This is where you see. So round the turn, and now you'll see. This is the finish next time around. Anyone who's doing the maths will understand that, because it is really simple. You go around that turn and come underneath that gantry there. So this is the finish in 1 lap's time. Remember, today's distance is a short distance on today's route because of it here. So next time you're here, you've hit the finishing line. Dead simple, as Russ says. Watch the screen messages from Russ and you can't go far wrong. Remember, today's route on the DCG, our route today, having a total of climbing of 554. The banner comes at 33.5 approximately, and that means that you have 2 up, 2 back, and the turns warm down about 2.5k. So if you looked at your screens, if you've got the members' email, there you go, it's going to come down and finish at the bottom. So then wait until the trigger. So it is once more for Mr. Llewellyn. So Andy Drobo's got the clue. Those people who are members of the DCG gang, they've got the heads up. They know when it's going to happen. Where the finish line is, they know exactly how much there is to do, what there is for our riders to climb, how far. Let's see how the guys are. I'm loving Josh Powers in full send from the bottom. Not sure that's probably the best plan, to be brutally honest, because if you distance everybody, what tends to happen is you just get a kick in on the way back down again, when they all come and catch you down. Red Beacon come in the opposite direction here, so you can just see how Red Beacon just shot up the other way, heading off towards the finish. Craig, I have gone quiet on a couple of occasions. That's quite simply because we've been doing a little bit of sorting out of behind the scenes here, so just to make sure everything's in there. If I am quieter, it's only probably because my voice is wrecked, and we can do a little bit about that, but just remember, when I get excited at the end, it'll be loud enough, and we don't want to blow everything apart. Yeah, it looks like our Zwift noise just gone up another notch from the team at Zwift, which makes things very entertaining for us. I'm going to just doing a little bit of an adjustment on it. It does depend on the world, actually, as to how loud that Zwift volume is and how quick it goes. So it is very, very fast. So looks like the gang working well. Team from Stormbarrow, yeah, loving it. Russ says he wishes he could send messages. He can, but they're very, very tough. So definitely going to be a bit tricky. I'm loving the conversations going about who's having what for tea. Personally, I'm going for waffles and fish fingers if there's any left when Tim eats them all. Who's just literally walked in up in the up above the studios, I can tell. So looks like Mason tucked in here. Tracy is in here. I'm loving the fact there's all the major food groups. There will be when I put baked beans in there as well, maybe. Looks like the team are working. I'm loving the fact that you talk about food and everybody goes for the stuff. Mum, if you're watching, put the oven on bolognese, vegan. Do you know what I want to do? I want to go to Nonnas for tea, but I can't. I'm not allowed tonight. So let's have a look at the gang at the moment. Mr. Runner in here. Do you know, this group is still holding together pretty well at this stage, to say that we are currently at 20k into the ride. I'm just trying to work my way towards the back of the bunch, see who's likely to be in trouble. Andy Drobo's in here. He's holding his powder dry. He knows exactly how far to go. If we just take a drop back to Carl, you'll see the rest of the group coming in. So they've now come through the corner. Well, you can tell it is super busy tonight on the messages. Are coming in on about 6 different devices at the moment. Very interesting to watch the squad, though, as they make their way up the hillside here. And they're already about to hit the climb on the front. Dr. D just having a fairly steady ride till it in here. Julie Leodis looks like a good group form in here. So that looks like it's Anthony Spencer, Mr. Topless in here. Tim Leary. Tim, there's a good group coming about 9 seconds behind with Spencer, Topless, Leodis and Young. I'll be hanging on for them. Then just in front, the next group of 4 working together. Remember, if you get dropped off the front group, find a group, make a gang, and then start to work together. It's really, really important on this route, because if you do get distance and you're left on your own, you are in serious trouble. Chris Ball and Brian Mason together. Sean, you've got assistance coming behind, mate. Mr. Sudbury, the same. Mr. Edmund, well, you need to push, mate. You've got to squeeze here to get in. Looks like Mr. Powers just squeezing his way onto the back of the group here. But if you're at the very back, you could be in trouble very soon, because we are not far off hitting that climb. We have the right turn, the sharp left, then we go round the hairpin turn. So just watching the gang at the moment. All the main group in there. Looks like that pack are holding together. Remember, we are only seeing the 100 nearest riders to Sean, not the entire pack. We can't show you the entire pack because it just physically can't generate enough people. The limit is 100, and that basically keeps the game playable and rideable. So let's have a little bit of a check. This group sitting together well at the moment. Good to have Mr. Kuslis in. Oh, thanks for the ride on, mate, when I was out on the bike on Zwift earlier on. Just doing a little bit of homework for one of our later rides out there. So just watching the team go through. And the riders riding really, really well. It feels like one of the first chain gangs back in April 2020, this one. Definitely. Apart from the fact that everybody's as nervous as hell for a while, but I definitely like it. So just watching Carl, soon just about halfway, picking up Dr. D on his way through. So great to see the gang work well. And Mr. Bolt and Flynn and Carl riding together well. This is what we want to see. Dr. D up the road till it's up there. Then you've got the rest of the gang. The main gang, though, now up onto the climb, already starting the ascent here. Remember, this is where things get tough. The gradient starts to go up. Our riders know that they need to keep the group together until that trigger from Russ. And when that trigger goes, that is when you can put the pressure on. At the moment, everybody is just keeping it together. They're saving their way. Saving that energy on the way through as they come up and around that turn. And you can see, yeah, what a surprise. We hit the 10% and the riders are all starting to zigzag across the road. Looks like a little bit of cyclocross for some. So, interestingly, the people who aren't going mad are the people who are likely to figure later on. That's really interesting to watch. This is the uphill stretch where we find those lighter riders are definitely able to use their lack of mass. And you can see how steep this section is. If we go out to the side, you can just see these riders really are up against the gradient as they come up this climb. It is steep stuff here, and it is all about having the power to ride in with the group, to not expend too much energy at this stage. Still plenty of distance, plenty of climb back, and then the run back down. It's the run back down that actually does a lot of damage to the group on the way through. If you've got groups splitting on the way down, it is absolutely frantic. So really interesting to see these riders all over the road at the moment. Apart from our full speed events avatar, who's sat there getting very, very bored indeed on their own at the back there. We haven't actually decided what the name of our avatar is yet. It does change quite a lot. So just watching Ball, Edmund, Dozy K, Mr. Hunsley now starting to be distant. Sudbury off the back of this group, trying to push Ted, our prize winner from mid-ride, in the group, and now just being distanced. So Current on his way up here, and looks like the bus has picked another passenger up on the way through. Great driving by Carl. Just watching Brown on here, Tunnicliffe in the gap, Olsworth here, so Rodney in there, Hopper, Big Tess in there, go keep an eye. It looks like Chris Canham, Gail Phillips at the moment now, not like Gail. Gail was riding so strongly at the weekend. That now just starting, I think, to feel the pace here, as you can just see the rider in the black at the back here, tucked on the back, and Gail sitting there now. Let's keep a little bit of a check. Remember, it's all about being able to stay with that front group at the moment. So it's going up. So interesting, we've had the word from Russ that if the front doesn't slow up, he won't call it. We're going to be doing a little bit of recording of our own. So at the moment, there is about 75 riders in front of Russ, and I think probably about 12 seconds on there. So the front just being told to knock some pace off, sharpish. So just jumping in with Russ. Looks like he's gone to the front to tell everybody to back it off. So let's see if that has the effect that he was after, as Russ makes his way to the front. So it was definitely getting very, very quick. We're currently on 45 minutes, 23k of riding done, and now starting to bunch a little bit behind Russ. I think that front group need to stretch that pace out off a bit, take some of the pace off, or the gaps are just starting to get huge. We know this is going to happen on this course. It's a great course, the Bologna course. It really does test everybody's ability. It feels like it's straight up and straight down, but what takes a lot of effect is the sections in the middle. So the riders, looks like Julie Leodis just about to hit the climb again. Remember, it's only twice up the climb and twice down with a turn at the bottom. The finish should be at about 33.5, and the go has gone. The go has gone. This is where we get to see who's got the pace, who's got the speed up on the front of the gang. We're going to try and take a little bit of a check up at the front and look at the number of power-ups that have been saved. Let's jump in with Simon Warren, the man from 100 climbs here. He's at 6.5 watts per kilo. It looks very flattened out if we go at the wrong angle, but it is incredibly steep here, and you can just see up the hillside at the moment. The rider's really starting to stretch this out, so the gang are starting to stretch it, and the man who is right on the front of affairs, Damien Clayton, really starting to pull this out now. Kieran Brown, Andy Dryberg sitting on the wheel, so Dryberg's there. We've got Brown, we've got Gilmore sat almost on the wheels. Lindley, they've got to get on the heels there. They can't afford to let that gap go. And then it looks like that's going to be Josh in here from the Barnsley Road Club, just being distanced. Same with Howlett. Lavery's being put to the sword here. Scott Easter being distanced. Birmingham being distanced. It's a big sprinters like Dale Williams doing well to hold in this long, but I think we're now at the point where we're going to see this leading group start to stretch away here. So you can just three leading riders making the way in and around underneath the turns here, with Clayton at just under 8 watts per kilo on this 6%, 7% now. Stretch going up the hillside. We'll get our drone camera in with them, and at the moment it is Clayton who is opening the gaps up. He's got a second at the moment on Dryber. He's got 2 seconds, if not 3 now on Kieran Brown. But remember, we have the downhill still to come, and that is where it benefits being in a group. Now, is the smart money the riders here from Howlett back? Because look at this. This is a gang of 5 riders. If these 5, if not 6 riders here with Lavery work together, they will be able to close down that solo rider in front. That will make all of the difference as they come up here, if they can stay together and work together. If you're on your own like Matt Gilmore, really difficult, really, really hard to stay clear of that chasing group. You look at this Birmingham group here behind, and there is a lot of riders quickly snapping at the heels of the riders in the front, as Clayton now comes up towards that turn. So Solo on his way up here, 14 seconds gap. He's gone early on all of the rides, but can he stay clear? If he can't stay clear, all that effort will have been for nothing. Around that turn he goes. Now let's go back to Driver along with Brown. They can see him coming the other way. He's on that descent. They know they've got to get up and through that turn. This is second and third place at the moment, as Clayton starts to descend the hillside. Now they've got to go off in pursuit. They've got to work together here. Behind them, it's another 27 seconds back. So they are on this descent. They are trying to get themselves back in touch with our leader. Our leader, remember, it is Clayton who has got the gap, and now the rest of the riders are coming in the opposite direction. This is where it gets really, really busy indeed. So Clayton on this descent, let's just say, drop in with our leader, and you can just see he's absolutely flying on the way down here. You'll see the riders on the way up. He's on 80 kph, 82 kph now on this descent. He really is trying to keep that pace super hot as he comes down here. Fortunately, he doesn't need to slow for the corners as he goes around here. Our cameras won't stay with him. They don't. They have to jump up in front. Searches the place of Clayton. Now 86 kph. Can he stay clear of the chasers behind? Remember, it is Kieran Brown who is the rider who has stretched this gap to try and get to him, but we did see that he had Driver with him. Clayton, though, going clear at the front and absolutely flying. Let's see if we can jump in to what was that chasing group behind. We're going to drop back first of all to our yellow beacon, because that's the easiest person to get hold of. And Russ with a big group here. Dale Williams in this group. This pack are working well. Just taking a look down here, looks like Donny Hugh on his way up as the yellow beacon drops down. We're just taking a little bit of a check back and through down the hillside, and you can just see just in with Russ at the moment. This is the chasing group. They are after Clayton. The question is, can they keep that pace hot enough to pull back Damien Clayton? Very, very difficult now at this stage in the game as they push on down here. Clayton at the moment, I think he's shown us 3:36 on our screens. I'm not sure that's going to be the case. That's a long, long gap, but he's now onto the flatlands. Remember that when you hit the flatlands here, you've got to get in through the turn and back again. Driver and Brown now coming behind. These are second and third on the road. Then it's going to be Gilmore and Easter group here. They're still on that descent, just having come around that turn. They've still got that pace and that speed as they come down here, and they are working well together here, these four. Now they have in front Driver and Pinesman Brown. 43 seconds. That's definitely a catchable gap. Behind then, Linley and Allen. They are currently at 9 seconds. They can see that group in front. You can see them just in front. Then it is going to be Hutch, Farty and Hind all together. Isaac Oliver just joining in the group there. So Isaac just pushes his way up and through that group. And then behind him, you've got this group with Booth in here, chopping in there as well. 18 seconds back, then it's the Nick Craig group. Craigie getting up to speed these days. Look at this. He's not saving anything now. So Craigie in that chasing group. They've got to pull the gap back, though. They can't afford to let it go out anymore. A bit further back, it's the Russ Downing group. Adi Dench in that group with Craigie just up the road. Then it's the Birmingham group with Chopping absolutely nailing it. They are all on the push here. They're all trying to chase this down. It's now only 7 seconds to go up to the group in front. 19 seconds for the Lavery group. They've got Driver and Kieran Brown at 36 seconds now from 45. They're taking 10 seconds out already. The man who's on the front, it is Clayton. I'm just taking a little bit of a look back from Clayton. It's 49 seconds to Kieran Brown. It's 49 seconds to a Driver. They are working well, but they really do have to push here. Now, they have got those what's up. This group behind don't look to be working together well enough to pull that gap, but it's gone back out to 37 seconds. They all need to work. Gilmore, Howlett, Easter and Lavery have to work together, or they're going to just get gobbled up, because behind them you have got a group that's working well. If we drop up above this group, you'll see they're rotating around. Lots of people taking a turn. Luke Hind up there. Rob Vaz coming through. Booth coming through. Chopping coming through, Birmingham coming through, Lindley making his way up, Isaac Oliver coming through, And if these guys work together, they are going to close down the riders in front, no problems at all. Behind then, this is Simon Warren's group. They are working. Okay, here we've seen plenty of churn on the front as different riders take their turn. It's 15 seconds to this group with Booth just trying to squeeze on at the front here to get back the group in front. This is the Easter group of 4. Then we have our 2 riders, Driver along with Brown at the moment. Clayton, though, is absolutely flying. Let's take a little bit of a zoom out, try and get that 3D view to work for us. At the moment, you can just see he is stuck in this no man's land. He's not got any company. He's nobody to help him with the pace. He's got to do it all on his own. Meanwhile, Brown and Driver are taking it in turns. And they are the 1-2. They've now got 42 seconds, so they are keeping that gap to Easter, Howlett and Gilmore. And at the moment, it is Scott Easter on the front who's lining this out. So Easter on the front, Howlett second wheel, Gilmore in third wheel, and Lavery is the rider at the moment who's just distanced a little bit. He's got to push on. That's more than 6 metres, and he's going to go backwards very quickly if those 3 work together. Behind, it's only 8 seconds. They can see that solo rider in front. This is the chasing group. Their distance is running down. Remember, it's 33.5k, so they've got about 4k to pull those riders back in front. This is a phenomenal chase on here as they're trying to get that gap back. It's now about 7 seconds to Lavery, 9 seconds to the Easter group. And behind, if we get that drone up in the air, let's see if we can get a good view back using our drone. There you go. That is the chase. So you've got Lavery's group been gone clear of him at the front. Behind him, you can see that gap that has stretched, and he has got behind him a big chasing pack coming at him, and they're only about 8 seconds off the back of this group. Lavery now squeezes in to that group, and I think this group know that it's going to come together. I think the pace has just come off them now at 5 seconds, and that is going to bring them back in. They're going to wish they were closer to this man, though, as Clayton continues to push. He's got this left and then sharp right-hand turn. Behind then, Driver and Brown at 1 minute. Easter is currently sitting on the front of that group, just trying to stay clear as the chasing group come behind. Howlett has capitulated, I think. Gilmore capitulated definitely into that group. There are 4 riders. Originally, now down to 3, and at the moment Easter's doing everything he can to stay clear of those chasers behind. At the front, Damien Clayton absolutely flying, comes round this turn, and when he does so, if we take a little bit of a zoom into the 3D, we're trying to get the view. We're onto the cobbles. He's onto this little kicker, this rise up that's absolutely nasty as you come in. He's got 2k to go. He's 1 minute 10 clear. You should see him in behind, though. 32 seconds it is, as Easter is now the only rider left clear of that chasing group. If we take a look, the group is coming, and it is coming quick. So 3 seconds now, and Easter must know that his days are numbered up on the front. You can just see the pack are going to pick him up. Here they come. There goes Easter on his own on the front. This is the pack, and the pace is actually splitting Chopping and Oliver off the back of that pack. So they are moving very, very quickly indeed. The junction is made. They're onto Easter. They're going to come sweeping past him now. Right up at the front, Clayton on this climb. He's got to go around the U-turn to come back through the finish. If we take a look back, you can't see the nearest chasers there at 1:09. It's 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds back from these two to the chasers behind. They have currently about 2k to go. 27k is the time gap. This man, though, well, he can see the arch. He's got to go through and out the other side. It's 33.5k when you get to the line, but look at this. The Canyon DHB Bloorhomes rider looking very, very strong indeed. Once again showing us just why these pros are so good and able to ride away from everybody else. So looking good on the Chaingang. Here on the Donny Chaingang Live on the Downey Cycling YouTube channel, it is Clayton. He's going to come in to the gantry, comes underneath. He's going to come around that turn. And as he does, we're going to track him around the turn. So Clayton coming in to the turn now. He's going to do the U-turn. He's going to line himself up with that gantry. Here he comes as he makes his way into the finish. It is going to be Damien Clayton once again. Big Watts as he comes kicking into the line. He's going to finish as soon as he hits that line. Job done. A great ride by Clayton to come in and through the finish. Now, Brown coming with Drybird. Let's see how they go on. Who's going to take this out between these two? They've got to go underneath the gantry and come back again. They see Clayton coming in the opposite direction. Now, here we go. Who's going to get this? Is it going to be Drybird? Is it going to be Kieran? They're sat together. Drybird just comes along the side here. We're going to get our drone cam come up. And you can just see these are the two riders going to go through and out the other side. Nobody has kicked us yet. Who is going to put the kick in from these two? We're just riding in with Drybird, the man in the blue at the moment. They do the full turn and then go for the line. It's a good kick. Personally, I wind it up a little bit sooner than this with a view to getting into the line. Now they go. They can see the gantry. Have they got anything left in those legs? And as they come in towards it, Kieran starts to wind it up. The group are coming behind them. Absolutely massive kick. Kieran Brown goes. Driver leaves it too late behind them. This is the chase. The group come in, so it was Kieran who got that. As they come in now, here we go. This is the sprint in for the line. You can just see on the front here, it's going to be Gilmore who's going to get this. Gilmore goes hard. Gilmore's going to get this as they come in and through. A flying ride as he goes in and through. Howlett makes his way in through there. Round the next turn comes the next group. We just rode in with Simon Warren as they line themselves up for the line here. Chopping's going. Dench is kicking hard here. Everybody are pushing like crazy to get themselves in and through. They push onwards, just getting that little bit of a gap behind. This is the next group. And look at this, an early sprint here. That's an interesting move done by Dale Williams here. So Williams has gone for the early sprint. He went early. He went before they hit that turn. Great move because it's got him the gap. If it's got a gap, you could put 4 double-decker buses in. That's an Evil Knievel size gap as they come in. Then I think it's going to be Potts followed by Elliott and Iredale. Great riding as they come in and through. So we are going to just take a little bit of a run down the course in an attempt to try and catch our next group coming in. I think it's going to be Russ's group just coming in the opposite direction there as they go in through the line. So Russ in through the line. So apologies if we miss you. It's a really tricky one to catch the finish. We always put Bologna in because it is essentially very close to the home of the guys, the home in Tuscany. Emilia Romagna, just at the edge of Tuscany. Great sprint here. Tom Crapper put a big blasted sprint to get himself in and through. Great to see. So remember, if you're out on the course, you have to get around this turn. And you've got to stay clear as you come in. I think Taylor Leach clear on the front. Leach now starts to kick with some big watts here. I think he is going to try and close them down on the way through. Is he going to get them? Oh, down the outside he goes. It is going to be Leach coming through. I think there's a few people cut from the weekend, and I am not surprised now. Richardson, I think, going through with that group. Good ride by Richardson. Raccoon just in front. We're going to take a little bit of a run up. I think Sadler on this chasing this group in front. So it looks like Rock pushing in for the line in that group. Then it's going to be Sadler. Then it's going to be Skinner, the next rider around this turn. So Millie Skinner around the turn here for the Pro and Noctis. Huddy Kiatz and Red Chili Squad, the finish line race team. Big bunch behind, though. Absolutely huge bunch behind at the moment. We're going to just jump in with Craig Herring, who's led them in around that turn. He goes over the top there of Tomlinson. Herring is going to lead them in here, so it is going to be Herring who's going to take this from the rest of the group. Tukey coming in, Dalglish comes through, Ryan Parker comes through. You can just see it's a huge group hitting that at some pace as they come out the other side. Now, Nick McDermott is going to be our next rider in. Good to see Nick on the Chaingang once again. Just distance by that group. It's an absolutely brutal course. And I have to say, personally, I'm really glad we only do it twice because there were a lot of people in bits. We did it a couple of occasions. We did it 3 times. Then we quickly decided it was a really bad move. Now you can just see kick on the front coming from Donahoe. Has he got the power? Has he gone clear at the right time? He's gone early, he's gone hard, and he's going to catch him napping here as they come in through the line. He takes it, and it's going to be Catley and Clark, the gang that comes through with Fulton and West. Now we are going to go back to Barrett. I think the next rider on the course, bar one rider coming in the opposite direction, We're going to just have a little bit of a check who that is going the opposite way. I think it's going to be Dobson who's going to come through. So Richard Dobson, one of our regulars on the chain gang, is going to come through the finish solo. It's definitely one to come through solo, and I'll tell you that much, because if you don't come through solo, it's really, really hard for us to catch you. Now, I think Dorsey just up the road, coming around the turn there, but I think Tracy Seeley just going through the line just in front. We're going to try and take a check yet. So Dobson going through, then it is Tracy Seeley, another of the fast riders on DCG. Then it's Dorsey, followed by Sudbury, Cannon, Coleman and Briggs. Sir Rodney on his way in, and Sir Rodney has a bit of a gang coming in behind as well. So behind Sir Rodney, coming in towards this turn, and it's all about getting your timing right. It's a lot less distance back from this turn than people think. So Rodney comes around the turn behind him. You can just see it's going to be Purple Ronnie as Sir Rodney kicks for the line. The Oldsworth, Ronnie and Fuller are going to get caught out here, I think, as they come through. Fuller sprinting at lastminute.com, but that is too late on the way through. Just in with Hopper at the moment as they come around this turn. You're just running in at the back of this gang with Gail Phillips in here. You can see the riders up in front. Ted putting in a big sprint on the front in purple, just about making him out. Is he going to get it? Oh, very close. Scotland just gets it from Ted. Then it's Garfoot, Brown, Ball, Phillips and Hopper. Great riding as Lone Rider comes through the back of that group. Got Edmund currently just weaving the way in through the turn there, heading into the finish as well. They just see Edmund on that descent behind Curry going on the chase here. Canham is in front. Canham can't afford to relax here. Let's get up with that drone cam once again. Lots of riders coming super fast, and good to see the messages keeping on coming out afterwards. So around the turn goes Canham. You can just see the chaser coming in behind him. That's Curran. As Cannon puts in a massive kick here. I saw Tone Watskill, I'm sure, coming out there as he goes in through to the line. So it's Cannon who goes through. Behind him is Curran. Curran's going to be our next finisher here on the chain gang. A good ride by Curran. Now it's going to be a big chasing group behind. So this is the next group on the road behind Curran, being led at the moment by Bobby Mason. But these are the riders who need now to push, because they've got to get round the turn and come back in again. And you can just see Clark at the moment, I think, just making a little bit of a push here. Now it's going to be continuing to push. So at the moment, Lindsay Clark just squeezing on the side of Mason. Now, who was paying attention on the way round, they've got to go through the line, around the turn at the bottom, and then back out the other side. Lindsay Clark, Bobby Mason with a gap to Paul Hunsley. Hunsley sat third man here. It's round the turn and kick for the line, and now is the time you've got to kick. You've got to kick before you come round the turn. It's not instinctive to do it because of the way you would ride in real life. But at the moment, it is going to be Mason who's got the jump. Mason gets the jump here. He's got the kick. He's opened the gap up, and it is Mason who's gone for it. So Mason is going to be the first over the line of these three. Then it's going to be Lindsay Clark, followed by Paul Hunsley. Paul coming through. Nice little group there with Bobby Mason. Good riding by Hunsley, and time to ease off the pedals and have a little bit of a steadier run through. So we are going to work our way back. I think we're going to be on the hunt for Wharfdale Phil. It may be that there is one or two people just up the road, but we're going to have a little bit of a check as he goes in. I think Sean Ferron is going to be our next finisher. Sean, one of our regulars on the chain gang. Good to have Sean with us. Nice matching kit. Clearly been taking tips from Nick Dorsey as he goes through. So matching the Nyoko kit with the purple Scott there. So Ferren coming in through to that U-turn at the end of the dead stop turn. Those of us old enough can just about remember the dead stop turns on time trials. Time trials, of course, with big changes to the rules this week that now mean all time trials, including hill climbs, have to have, all bikes in them have to have a front light, and all of the riders have to have a helmet, whether irrespective of age and irrespective of what it is. So Mr. Ferren going through, nice matching kit there. Then it's going to be a Wharfdale Phil, who's on his way in, and good to see Phil making his way towards the line. So Phil on that push, you can see the gantry just coming up in front of him, and it's jobbed down, then it's a warm down to the finish of the ride. This course here, all part of the 12 DCGs of Xmas, splitting our riders up. And don't forget, of course, we have our fantastic riders who have been out on that course, all making the way in towards the finish. So we're just going to take a little bit of a check. I think our next two riders, it's going to be Sonia Inslee along with Mr. Jones. Quick heads up for Jones. You are in the company of somebody who's guaranteed to sprint. No pressure, buddy, but it's bound to be the way. Just taking a look. So, of course, that Nonnas but going to Trevor Crehan. Congratulations to Trevor as our riders come around that turn now. This is a little bit cagey here. Nobody's gone early here for this line, and it could be a last-minute roll. Is Jones going to get this? Is this the one time that Sonia Inslee doesn't sprint for the line? There you go, put the date in your diary. It didn't happen this time round. Now, next rider's coming in. It is going to be Young on his way in towards the line here. So we're just riding in with Young. Immediately behind, though, as they're coming in, you can just see Keith Hayward is right behind. And they've just got this turn to do and then the run to the gantry. So all part of the 1080 12 DCGs of Xmas. Lots of giveaways. Congratulations to all of our winners so far. Those 1080 voucher going to Caroline today. We have our Nonnas hamper going to Trevor Crehan. And the fastest finger, subject to confirmation by our commissaire team, aka me, is the rider who was fastest and even got a practice in. And it shows you that prep counts on the Donny Chaingang. It is Ted. So Mr. Edwards going to be taking away the Spatswear goodies, which is great to see. Now, you can just see everybody just on this warm down at the moment. We are going to jump back because we might have to work from back to front here in a minute because we're going to have to do a little bit of a sneaky one. We're going to use our secret weapon and jump back in with the riders on the gang here. Now, this is where it pays to work out who is up the road from our gang. So, Dr. D and Mr. Johnson are heading in towards the line. We think Mr. Spencer is already in through the line. So I think we're just going to work our way up from Carl and Jim. We know that Bobby Mason's come through, Sean Ferren's come through. I think Brad Young and Anthony Spencer, Isaac Oliver, Tim Leary potentially has come through, Julia Leodis. We're going to have a double check on them because they may well be in that run to the line. Here we go. Just made it in time. By the wonders of time travel. Made our way back round. And Julie's going to be our next rider into the line. Julie Leodis in that green and black. It's almost Bolsover kit. I actually prefer that to Bolsover kit, but don't tell whoever designed it in Bolsover that. I'll be in trouble with the club when we come through. So Julie on her way in to the finish. Great little sprint to kick it off to finish. So Julie Leodis, our next rider in and through. If we drop back from Julie, I think it is, who's coming in the opposite direction, it is going to be Darren Topless here in the green and black of the Pines. And then immediately behind it is going to be Anthony Spencer. There are next two riders now in through that. Gav's got to do the turn, and Topless knows exactly when to hit that button, doesn't he? He's going to come around this corner. He doesn't want to keep that power up all the way to the line. He's going to pick another one up, no doubt, on the way through. And putting it to just getting that weight down just means that when you try to accelerate up, you can accelerate up that little bit easier. Here comes the sprint, getting the timing right, 7 watts per kilo. As he kicks it up from the 3 up to a 7. It goes through the line, that little bit of a gap there to Anthony Spencer. Spencer in and through the line here and riding well, but just beaten in through there by Darren Topless. Good ride by him. We're just going to drop back to Mr. Leary, who I think has stopped, which means it may well be that we are now on our hunt. We might have to do our secret weapon again, once again, just to get ourselves back to the riders, because we're going to jump in with our yellow beacon and then have a little bit of a work around to see who we haven't seen come in. Brad Young already in and through by the look of it, by the numbers on the screen, and looks to me like that red beacon group going to be our last group out on the road, as Julia Leodis comes in the opposite direction. And the red beacon group containing three riders. And that is Dr. Dubash himself, Dr. D. So Rowan on the front, just using that power up on that hill. It is going to be Jim Flint, along with our beacon. And that's Carl Johnson. So Carl riding nice and strongly here. Got the lightweight wheels and the aero frame. Jim going for the full lightweight frame and lightweight wheels. And the man at the front is going to be Dr. D, who is currently riding his way up here. Looking super strong, looking smooth, and riding well. So our red beacon on the way into the line. Just going to do a quick thank yous on the way through. Massive thank you to Ian Taylor at 1080, and of course to the team at Nonnas, to Stefano, who's riding tonight, along with Maurizio, the best food in the business. And a big thank you for them for the hampers going out. Amazing stuff from them, and I'm sure Trevor's going to absolutely love that hamper. A big thank you to Tom Barris and the team at Spatswear. And that prize going out to Ted, Andrew Edwards, and of course to 1080 Ian at 1080 for that voucher, which will be heading Caroline's way. No doubt Caroline will be already working out what she wants to be spending the money on. Hopefully having a well-earned rest after racing at the World Championships at the weekend. Don't forget the 12 DCGs of Christmas continue next time around. And on Thursday, we are going to be giving away another Nonnas hamper, as well as some Halo goodies as well. And that is going to be coming out. Don't forget, if you want to join in the fun, make sure you're a member of the DCG gang. And that's Donny Chaingang Supporters Club. That means that I can and Russ can keep on putting the time in, make sure that we keep everything covered off. And it also covers all the cables that we seem to break, about a cable a week pretty much. So a big thank you to everybody who's helping us keep the show on the road. Don't forget, if you remember the DCG gang, make sure you keep on using 30% discount off your OTE, along with all of our other suppliers and supporters that you can see down the bottom. Halo, OTE, Velaskin, as well as 1080, the Grand Tour coffee, which, yep, big mug today. World's biggest mug. It's amazing stuff. Now, this is absolutely key. Now, interesting to see that Rowan Dubash had sprinted on that one the last time. We're going to jump back in with them now. It's all about getting the right time for the sprint. Dr. D's gone to the front. Carl Johnson's got a good old sprint on him. We know that. The question is he going to use it? That's the going to be the entertaining stuff. So let's see. It is going to be Dr. D who's going to have this, or is he? Look at this. Flynn's gone for a flyer. He's gone for a surprise off the back. Absolutely pinging. What a ride as he comes off the back of the group there. Well, that was a turn up for the books. The man who had been sitting there really quietly. What a great ride by Jim Flynn. Absolutely pinging. Nice stuff. And look at that, Dr. D. Distanced off the back. Plenty of time to get it back. We'll be back in Bologna, I'm sure. However, on Thursday, we are in New York for the Gotham Grind. And don't forget, you can catch up with all our riders out there. So as Rowan makes his way to that warm-down banner, the blue banner just remains to say from Russ, from myself, Matt Payne, from all the gang at Nonnas, and everybody on the Donny Chaingang, from the 1080 team headed up by Ian and co, as well as Tom at Spatswear. Have a great couple of days. We'll catch up with you on Thursday for the very next Donny Chaingang.